What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MovieGuide.com, your favorite blind film critic, and this is a TV review. It's the first two episodes of Sunny. It's currently now on Apple Plus, and it's going to be like a weekly drop. So I didn't wait to review the whole series. I just reviewed the first two episodes. They dropped right away for you guys. It has audio description because Apple Plus has made a commitment to audio description for all of their new shows. So their whole service, if it's an Apple Plus original, it has audio description. They do bring some movies in, and it gets sketchy. They have some like licensed content movies that they've started like hosting every once in a while. That gets kind of sketchy, but everything else, all their Apple original movies, everything has audio description on the service. So, uh, this is also because I'm a blind film critic. I've been starting to introduce myself because I know I have a blind audience. So, I have a black backwards baseball cap on. I've got black sunglasses, and I'm wearing a Fast and Furious t-shirt, which is totally appropriate for the A24 crowd. Nothing says A24 like Fast and Furious. So this series stars Rashida Jones as sort of like an expat stuck in a futuristic Japan, where she's basically the only person there. We don't have a constant racial breakdown of everybody. It's just kind of like understood that she is alone in this world in terms of her being the sore thumb that's stuck out in this series. So I also think that perhaps maybe some of the audio description is in not describing Rashida Jones, who is biracial and sometimes gets by on playing characters that I think people aren't always aware. You know, I literally have talked to people before, and they're like, "She's white," and I was like, "She's not white." Like her dad's Quincy Jones. How do you not know this? Like, um, yeah, she. A lot of people they don't know that she's, I guess, what they would call now a nepo baby. But it's funny when if you can make it in the career without people necessarily connecting you, great. Because I think that nepo baby thing is dumb. Uh, and Rashida Jones is talented, and she shows it in the show. She's anchoring the show. This is perfect for her. Um, she used to have a job when you look at her past, because the show has like a present and has a past. And in the past, you see that she was there for a job, and then she lost the job, and now she just tutors math students back in America. So she does what so many people in America do here, which is like tutor English virtually online to kids in other countries. I know a lot of people who do that, like for quick cash. It's really easy. The standards are pretty low. There's some services that'll take you if you're just like an English speaker, um, just to do conversational English. Like, will you talk to so and so online for 30 minutes and they'll pay you? And then other ones require at least a bachelor's degree, and then the really high ones require like an English. I think you have to actually have like a major in English. So like there are some services that are really sketchy, and if you just are a native English speaker, you're good to go. So I don't know. I don't know if her degrees in math or whatever, but she's doing the thing where she's sending her math skills back to America. Um, and she meets this guy, Masa, one night, and he is, she's dyslexic, and obviously Japanese is not her first language, so she's struggling reading things, and he watches her like struggle with this like ordering machine. Like Japan is so interesting. Like they have like it's supposed to be like a silent restaurant. And she calls him on it because he's trying to like help her, and he's like whispering to her. He's like, "No, you don't want it," and she's like, "This is supposed to be a silent restaurant." So, and he's trying to help her from choosing like spicy ramen. And this is a flashback, by the way, but this sets up sort of like how they met, and where you get to know anything about her character, and how they met. Flash forward to the present day. The opening scene you get is this crazy thing where like a robot kind of goes rogue, and yep. So that's like the first thing, and there's this plane that may or may not have crashed, may or may not have had Her she ends up marrying Masa, and they end up having a kid together, whose name escapes me because he's not really featured in this series yet. Um, but so she's, worried about missing her husband and kid, but they haven't found them yet. So she's still holding out hope that he wasn't on the plane. There's also a history that she refers to regarding her parents, and she's like, she has this real distaste for like AI and robots, which is a huge thing for her coming up. She mentioned something about her parents dying in a car accident, and somebody tries to blow it off as being like it was user error. It was a self-driving car and it was user error. And so it wasn't like a robot, but it was just like AI. But she does not like this kind of stuff. She's not into it. And she thought her husband, Masa, made refrigerators, like just really advanced refrigerators. So she was cool with that. And then all of a sudden, in the midst of all of this and the grief counseling groups about for the families waiting to hear back from something about the plane, this guy shows up with a giant box, and inside is a robot. And she's like, I hate robots. Get this thing out of my house. But the robot is Sunny, the name of the show, and it's this very cheerful female voiced robot. It's a very sort of like, I don't know who's voicing this, but it's a delightful, upbeat voice, and it's it's supposedly programmed by her husband, who uniquely programmed it just for her, to be a companion for her, because, as the guy says, her husband knows it's been hard for her to make friends because she doesn't natively speak Japanese, and this is where also she mentions about being dyslexic, which makes it harder for her to read Japanese. So, um, so she's stuck with Sunny, and the first two episodes are sort of about this like push and pull thing. Like, is she going to trust Sunny? Is she going to use Sunny? Does Sunny have any benefit? While also trying to find out, because she can't get a hold of her husband. She doesn't know where, like, she doesn't know if her husband was on the plane. She doesn't know anything. She just, so she's investigating this mystery, and she shows up to like a holiday party, and she sees something that's very sketchy. And then when she goes back later on in episode 2, that thing that she saw that was sketchy, I'm doing a really good job avoiding spoilers, it's not there anymore. And so there is something afoot. There are people following her, mysterious people, and you don't know what's up, but you get the indication that there is some kind of a mystery. There's a quote that's said, and then later on her husband says the same thing. So is her husband alive? Is her husband dead? Is her husband captured? Is her husband evil, like an evil villain? We don't know. This series has done a really good job of opening the door to 18 different possibilities within the first 2 episodes of like where this could go. Maybe they died in the plane crash. Where's her son? I mean, if her husband is alive, then where's her son? So it's just, yeah, it is very much, they're trying to figure out this stuff, and I'm intrigued. I it feels it doesn't quite feel A24, but it feels adjacent, and I'll tell you why. Because I was reminded of Ex Machina, and sort of a lot of the questions that Ex Machina posed are being posed here, because we find out that the robots are alterable. That some people, like on the black market, that there's a group of people who alter the robots for certain things. She meets a female bartender that talks about how she uses her robot for sex, and I guess that's something that you're not supposed to, or they're not programmed for it. So she's like, how do you do that? Like, how do you get it to? And she's like, oh well, I got, I got some modifications off the black market, and figured out how to do it. So yeah, uh, it's a very interesting series, and I'm excited for it. Um, Rashida Jones, I would say, she's here. She's so used to playing comedy that this almost feels like we're headed in that route sometimes, especially her dynamic with Sunny at times can be sort of light and comedic. And it's that dark comedic. It's that tone that they tried to pull off with the curse. I don't like the curse. That was A24's. I don't know if they did another TV series between then and there. I think they did. They did that hotel. I think they were attached to the hotel animated Hotel Hell show or whatever it was that was on Amazon. Anyway, that's moving on. Uh so yeah, it's kind of feels like it tonally doesn't quite know where it wants to go, but maybe but after two episodes I don't know that that's a problem yet. I don't know if the tonality of the show is a problem. It's introducing a lot of ideas, and it doesn't really seem like the show itself knows where it wants to go or has made a serious decision about where it wants to go. Is it a drama? Is it a mystery? Is it a thriller? Is it a horror? Is it a action? Is it a spy movie? We don't know. Like it seems like it's tonally, and that's what I said. It's like opening. When you watch the first two episodes, you feel like it could go anywhere. Like it's kind of played a lot of different cards, and there's a way to bring all those paths together and converge it into one, and then follow that road. But I like possibilities as long as it doesn't end up seeming like it's all over the place. Now that's the problem if you constantly seem like is that you seem kind of messy later on in the show. You're like, what are we doing here? I don't know. We got this because when you start sort of expanding on 18 different ideas, then uh, then you start kind of losing thought. But at the very beginning, because each episode runs about a half hour. These are not hour-long episodes. I don't think anyway. Maybe they're a little bit. Maybe it's somewhere between like 30 and 45 minutes. This is one of those shows that doesn't feel like it needs 60 minutes for every single episode. So they move along pretty quickly. And so I burned through the first two episodes pretty quickly. And it just, yeah, it just, it felt like I want to know more. And that's a good thing. So, in terms of setup, in terms of the future of the show, in terms of what's up with Masa, what is he doing for this company? Why are people scared of him? And people are scared of him like in like a real world context, but then like there are other things that hint that he's gone, but then things that hint that he's not gone, and it's very interesting. And Sunny is a cool robot, so I'm excited to see what she can do in the future and um, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this will be fun. Um, I I think the audio description is solid. Obviously, there's a lot of translation because sometimes people do slip into Japanese, so you're going to get some dubbing in there in terms of the audio description. Hopefully, that doesn't bother you. I guess if you spoke English and Japanese, it would bother you, and we're blind. Uh, if you were a native speaker for both, and you just wanted the audio description, but we're just trying to get like basic stuff here. You know what I'm saying on the English audio description track. So um, I don't know if this has a Japanese audio description track. That would be interesting to think of. With it such a high presence of Japanese characters, you would think that there is one. Anyway, just that's an aside thought. Um, but yeah, I recommend Sunny. I think we're off to a strong start. I'm gonna give the first two episodes of Sunny an A minus. So check it out. It's on Apple Plus. I don't know where it's going. It's hard for me to grade Rashida Jones's performance right now because the tonality of the show, like I said, I feel like they're intentionally leaving the door open. Like instead of trying to make this like a somber drama where she's sitting in the corner crying all the time, you're like, "Where's my husband?" They're like leaving it open so that it can go many different ways. And now, if it turns out to be one of those "Where's my husband" shows, then I'll be like, never mind. This is not. If this is a crier, then we should have been doing that all along. But if this is something else, then let it be something else. So yeah, Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.